You're trying to find your gig. You're trying to find your niche. You're trying to figure out how you can best express your own authenticity. And that's what I love about him, because that's all he talks about.
And now for something completely different.
Welcome to
Surrounded by Idiots
Radio Podcast.
Well, you found your way back into the Surrounded by Idiots Radio Podcast. Hi, this is Tony Dufresne, your host, and I'm just going to talk about a number of books that I feel as though are life-changing. This first book, the book is The Power of Now by Eckhardt Tolle. He really dialed into the basic core issues of his own true self, and he was able to translate things within his own mind to create levels of simplicity and understanding in how things work. And the best part about this guy is the fact that he took all of that was going on in his mind, and he was able to very, very effectively write it down exactly the same way. You know, it's called The Power of Now, and it really is about now. It's about true awareness. It's about the clarity and the awareness and the focus of really what exists. And what exists at any particular time is just the moment. I mean, the moment you're listening to this right now is the only moment that really exists. The second book is relatively new. Now, The Power of Now has been out for a while. It's Jen Sincero's Youre a Badass. When I first read her book, I thought, oh shit, she took my stuff. It's like it's almost exactly the same, not the same verbiage exactly, but it's just the same exact way of looking at things and describing things. And she does an outstanding job at creating a very, very easy way to digest some really complex things. The third book I'm going to talk about is a classic, and this is Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. Viktor Frankl was a psychiatrist back in the 30s, in the World War II days, and what happened is that he was put into a concentration camp. Because of the travesty and the terrible nature of that, he learned certain coping mechanisms to be able to rationalize and understand human behavior, and also understand really existence and survival. And what came of that was this philosophy of psychology that he created, which is called logotherapy. Logo meaning a meaning. So it's really the meaning of things. And I think I resonate with Viktor Frankl's work the most because it combines both philosophy and psychology. It combines the origins and the search for meaning that philosophy works with, as well as the psychology in regards to explaining certain aspects of human behavior and how that relates to cognition in terms of how you think. And I love it. So the first part of the book, the first half of the book, is really his story in going and being in the concentration camp. And then it rolls into the second part of the book where he starts to explain the concepts of logotherapy. The fourth one is actually a representation of a lot of books that this guy's written. And the guy's name is Seth Godin. And I'm sure you've heard of him. I mean, the guy's all over the place. He's a multimedia manager, a real business guy. Best part about Seth's work is absolute direct-to-the-point simplicity. It's 75 pages, loaded with really good stuff. And this, Poke the Box, is really about figuring out what the hell your thing is as unique and authentic. And that's why I love this. You're trying to find your gig. You're trying to find your niche. You're trying to figure out how you can best express your own authenticity. And that's what I love about him, because that's all he talks about. Figure out what the hell's going on with you. Don't follow anybody, and then move forward from there. But continue to take action. You got to do the work. It's all about persistence. The next book I want to talk about is It's How to Win Friends and Influence People. This thing's been around since the 30s. Dale Carnegie, popular speaker. This really comes down to what I talk about. Putting yourself in a place where you understand that everybody doesn't live in your world. They live in their own. And the only way you're going to be able to effectively communicate with them is if you shut the hell up and listen to them. There's a couple honorable mentions that I'd like to speak about. The first one is really, really good for parents or teachers or speakers or anybody that has to deal with trying to convey a message to a broader population or bigger population, like you're educating somebody. And it's called Becoming Brilliant. And this comes down to really the essence of learning. Think a little bit out of the box in terms of creating new solutions to things. And that's really what Becoming Brilliant is all about. The last book I want to talk about in honorable mention is the classic Tony Robbins' Awaken the Giant Within. Awaken the Giant Within was written long, long time ago. if you're just starting out and you have a good week to invest in something and you haven't dug into any specifics in regards to personal growth and development stuff, I highly suggest this. It's got a ton of stuff in there, but it does give you a general, broad understanding of really what it's all about. And that's what I liked. And he also does the one thing that I do and that I think is the most important part of any of this personal growth and development stuff. He gets you to take action. You could read all of these books that I talked about today and 100 more, because there's literally thousands of books out there, personal growth and development. You can read all of them. If you do not take what you've learned and take what you've modified within yourself inside of your own head into this internal world, and if you don't create action from that and change your world around you, the big world around you, not the world inside your head, but the other world you have to deal with, if you don't do that, then it's all pointless. Pointless. But how many people do you know that have an entire rack of books like this that it's just there, but they're the same, and they're still complaining about where they're at, and they're still not making enough money, and they're still not at a good relationship, and they're still having a lot of issues with their life. And they still complain that they're having issues because they keep going from book to book to book, thinking that just by reading the book, it's going to create the solutions, which it's not. Any solution that's going to be created has to be created by you. I hope everything is well. And what I'd like to do is this. If you do have something out there, a book out there, and it doesn't have to be a personal growth and development book. It can be any type of book that, like Celestine Prophecy, too. That's another one that was hugely impactful to me way back in the day when it first came out. That's actually the first one that got me into all of this with the Celestine Prophecy, and that's a story. It's a fictional story, but it's written based upon, finding certain aspects. You should read it. That's another great book. I would love to hear from you. What book or books have really impacted your life to where it's made this shift to where you find yourself today listening to this? Just shoot me a line at tony@javabud.com, or you can go to the website, because the website's going to have the podcast and the video, and that's javabud.com. I hope you have a great week, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye.